Diana from Adirondack Girl at Heart. I teach antique lovers how to create successful antique and vintage businesses. One of the ways I do that is through videos here on YouTube. Today, rather than sharing my vintage finds, which is what I usually do, I'm going to be talking about a specific collectible, one of my favorites, and that is baskets. One of the most frequent questions that I get is how to tell the difference between an old and new basket. So I'm going to talk about that a little bit today. But first I want to point out some of the materials that different baskets are made out of. So this one is an example of an ash splint basket. Very common in northeastern United States. It makes a very light basket. And this one actually originally had some color to it. See, it's faded on the sides, but you can see it on the bottom. So ash splint can be easily dyed. That's ash, and here is another example of an ash splint basket, a little bit older than the previous one, with nice patina on it. Another material is oak splint. This is a newer example of an oak splint basket. You may be familiar with oak splint picnic baskets, which tend to have a darker patina because they're older. This is a rattan basket. Nice little braided design there at the top. And here's another example. Here's a rattan hamper, where on the top you have the full round rattan, which is a plant, and here you have half. So for the body, the rattan reeds were cut in half there. That's rattan. Here is an example. Here's an example of a willow basket. Here's an example of an ash splint basket, but with Hong Kong grass. That's what this material right here is called. That is from Asia, used in a lot of Native American baskets, which this is one of. And here's another basket that has sweetgrass. It's woven with sweetgrass and ash splint, and this is a northeastern Native American basket. Here's a picnic basket from the 1930s or 40s that often you would see this with oak splint. This, I believe, is either ash or hickory splint, slightly lighter than an oak splint basket would be. So you can see that baskets are made out of all kinds of different materials. These are some that are common in my area, common in the Northeast. So let's look at some of the details of these baskets that help us to understand that they are antique rather than new. So first off, what you want to look for is a beautiful aged surface, right? You want to see some age to the basket. So a newer basket, a newer ash basket would be very, very pale, but this is an antique, so it has a much darker surface. Another thing that you want to look for is tight weaving. This basket is very, very tightly woven. It's extremely sturdy. I'm applying a lot of pressure when I push like that. Also, this basket has a square bottom and a round top, and that is not an easy basket to weave, not easy at all. So with antique baskets, you will also be looking for wooden handles. This is a nice oak handle that has a grip chiseled out here. So that's the sign of an older, higher quality basket. In addition, on the handle, it's notched inside right here. There's a notch right there that holds the handle in place. So I can fill this with a whole bunch of apples, and this handle is not going to slide out because it's notched right there and because it's woven it is the full length of this basket. You want to look also for chisel marks on your basket, which the chisel marks have been sanded off of this one. So they went the extra step and actually sanded the handle. The bound rim here, this binding, is also a nice sign of quality. It means that the rim, there's a double rim here, one on the inside and on the outside, and it's held together with this binding. Same on this basket. You see the nice binding there. And I pointed out the rim on the rattan basket, really nicely, you know, very attractive rim there, and then a super quality sturdy handle on top. And so let's look at a basket that is newer. I mentioned this one. It's an oak splint basket. At first glance, it's really got some pluses. It is definitely nicely, tightly woven. It has a swing handle, which is very nice. Takes extra work to make a swing handle. But when you look at it closely, you can see right here, it's not finished, right? We have really rough edges there on the bow that's holding the handle in place. The opening on the handle is also not finished. So that is a sign of poor quality. It also is, while it is, so on the bottom we can see where it's not oxidized. And on the sides, we see some oxidation, but you know, with an older antique basket, you will learn, you will grow in your knowledge that it would be darker. If it was an antique oak basket, it would be darker than this. So the oxidation is not quite right on it. And so the final nail in the coffin is it has a made in China sticker on the bottom. So we know that it's not an antique basket. Does that mean that it's not valuable or that it's not attractive? No, it's a nice looking basket. Spend a couple dollars on it and you can resell it for maybe $15 because it has a nice look, it's a nice size. But if this was an antique basket, it would be worth much more than that. So that's some of the signs that you want to look for in baskets to help you determine whether it's an antique basket or a new basket like this one. Be sure to check out the articles on my website about baskets, especially my price guide.